From a psychology perspective and a mindset perspective, what does it take to be an entrepreneur? And can anyone listening to this right now become an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur?
At the basic level, if a kid can go around a neighborhood and say, hey, I will mow your lawn, or I'll rake your leaves, or I'll babysit your kid in exchange for money, fundamentally that's entrepreneurship if we're just taking it at the most basic level. And so what prevents someone from doing that? Basically, if you can get a job, then you can be a self-employed entrepreneur. And so I would say that is like my baseline number one. From a behaviors perspective, then you get into, I want to learn about the game of entrepreneurship. And then there, it's basically a lifelong journey of how much leverage can I apply to this at all pieces of the business. Because even going around knocking on a door and saying, hey, can I be a babysitter? You have all levels of business, all functions of the business still exist there. They're just done a lot of times simultaneously.
You can be an entrepreneur if you're willing to tolerate pain. It is a hard path because at the end of the day, you can't blame anybody else, and there's a scoreboard constantly behind you. And if you have a job, it could be the boss, it could be the other decisions, it could be somebody else's fault. But if you are the entrepreneur in charge, there's nobody else. And the thing that I love about entrepreneurship, and I think all entrepreneurs love, is you either win or you lose. In a lot of ways, it's a zero-sum game, and it's measured predominantly by, do I grow my profits and revenue in the way that we set up the system today? Yes, I think anybody who is willing to tolerate pain can become an entrepreneur. And I think it's actually okay to have pain in your life, and you should seek it a little bit. It's the same thing as the gym. We don't go in there and think it's going to feel great to have a workout and have our muscles literally rip apart in order to rebuild. And yet that's what it takes in order to get more fit. And so I think part of the game of entrepreneurship is just like, and we increase pain tolerance over time consistently. And once you do that, then the things that used to be hard today, you'll look back on and you'll sort of chuckle because they will not be hard any longer.
The comments of every one of these videos is not everyone can be an entrepreneur, not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Interestingly, the idea of a job is a very recent innovation if you take a long view of history. Jobs really only came into existence around the 1850s, the idea of a wage. Prior to that, people got paid for tasks, and essentially you completed a task, you got paid, and all sorts of levels of society. And that gave rise to very entrepreneurial classes of people. You had to be quite entrepreneurial prior to the 1800s. So it's definitely built into us. There's this other part of us that is a visionary, and it's interested in exchange, it's interested in empathy, it's strategy, love, compassion, adding value to others, and it's a higher mind, it's a higher way of thinking. Unfortunately, what happens in most of society, especially with a lot of social media, and especially with the way we were raised through the schooling system, is that we keep just getting dragged back into the autopilot and the reptile brain, as opposed to being able to have a little bit of time for the visionary. And it's that visionary mind that makes you feel very entrepreneurial. I have seen people who have never had a business, they've never been entrepreneurs, and they get around a group of entrepreneurs, and the buzz and the energy from that group of entrepreneurs becomes contagious. And they start opening up this other part of their mind, and they go, oh, wait a second, I've got an idea. I could do this. And they start thinking about what's possible. And I've watched people go from, I could never do this, to I could totally do this in a day.